Okay, we're live. Thank you very much, Adiola. So, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Out of School series, Business School edition. And I'm super excited for this particular edition because there's a lot of misconception and not a lot of knowledge to go around this topic of MBA. And you hear people say stuff like, "Oh, an MBA, you have to have this, you have to be this, you have to have a background in this, in finance, for instance, before you can join an MBA." So we're hoping that with this webinar, we're able to like debunk some of these myths that we have and shed more light on what an MBA is really and why you can actually pursue an MBA without some of the things you thought you needed or you need before you can actually do an MBA. So today we have our dear speaker, Temilade Adelakun. Thank you so much for joining. So I'll just go on to read her bio and then we can just start the conversation. So Temilade Adelakun is a dynamic professional with a multifaceted career spanning product marketing, product management, and program management. She's an accomplished scholar, an emerging leader with a track record of excellence. She was recognized as a Future Female Leader Awardee by IESE Business School in 2023 and is an alumna of the Harvard Business School Crossroads Emerging Leaders Program 2020. She holds a first-class bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from the University of Ibadan and was part of the founding class at the Nigeria University of Technology and Management, NUTM. Additionally, she's an alumna of the Nigerian Higher Education Foundation, NHEF. Temilade previously worked as a product manager at Google Sub-Saharan Africa, where she led strategic initiatives in branding, positioning, and growth marketing for various Google consumer and Android products across the region. She's currently pursuing an MBA at the University of Chicago Booth School of Business. So with a virtual round of applause, let's welcome our speaker, Temilade Adelakun. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'd just like to
Sorry.
pick
Is that
up
my
on our.
internet or there was a pause for like 2 seconds? Was it from my hand or from Wonderful's end?
This can someone help confirm
Yeah,
that?
if it's
Like,
mine, so I can switch my internet like ASAP.
Oh, there was no stop at my hand.
Okay, then it's from my hand. Please, if you see my internet shake, please just let me know. I will
okay,
switch to a different internet immediately if I observe anything
thank you.
looking interesting. Thank you so much, Wonderful, and thank you for having me on this call. I genuinely appreciate what you and your team are doing with the Out of School series, right? I hope I
Yes,
pronounced it right. Because
yes,
I remember where I was emotionally and physically when I graduated from the university a few years back. And honestly, there were conversations like these, but they were like maybe once in a quarter kind of conversation. Just hear somebody is doing something, but having something like Out of School series where people begin to understand what they should do when they are done with school, how they can maximize opportunities, what the next career path is for them. Like, thank you for creating such a platform, and I really hope that many people get blessed in this session, subsequent sessions. Well done. Thank you for having me.
thank you very much.
And for
So
working
yes,
with my timing, I'm very grateful. Thank you for accommodating my timing. I'm very grateful.
you're VIP. So of course. All right. So I'll just like to kick off this conversation with what exactly is an MBA? We hear it every day. MBA this, MBA that. What exactly is an MBA, ma'am?
Sure, that's fine. Just like I said earlier, I was saying that like when we were like having like a chit chat before the recording started, I was saying
Mm-hmm.
that MBA is also a master's degree, like it's master's in business administration, the same way we have like a BBA. I'm not sure if back in our country, and someone please feel free to like correct me. I'm not sure if back in our country we have like degrees that are BBA. I know we know of MBAs, but we've never heard of someone saying I'm doing like a BBA. I mean, I know Nextport does something. Nextport started recently. I don't know if there's like a school, like the UIs and the OAUs. Can you do, am I saying the wrong thing?
Yeah, I think there are schools that do business administrations for bachelors. Yeah.
Bachelor's. Oh, that's interesting. Never. Oh, okay. Maybe I can rearrange my words. All the 5 years I spent in school, I never met anybody that says, "Oh, I'm doing like a BBA." I mean, at some
And
point, I
not
knew
in,
Netford had a BBA. I never met one. Oh, I'm in Faculty of Education. I'm in Faculty of Law. I never heard anybody saying BBA. So it was honestly very new to me when I was in school. So, like I said, the MBA is simply a master's in business administration. And just to give context, and maybe I can start by saying why people pursue MBA and some myths about MBA that I think are not true. People
Mhm.
pursue MBA for different reasons. Number one, career advancement. People typically see MBA as a required prerequisite for like senior management roles. And
Okay.
sometimes even we have companies, consulting companies, say once you spent like 3, 4, 5 years, if I'm not wrong, in a consulting firm, even the consulting firms in Nigeria do it, they would,
Mm-hmm.
I think, you go for your MBA fully funded by
Mm-hmm.
consulting firm. By consulting firm, I mean the McKinseys, the BCGs, and the Bain. Though you have to come back, they are funding you fully, but you have to like commit to like coming back and spend. I think there's like a contract thing where you have to spend 2 or 3 years post your MBA with them. You can't just leave after they funded your education. So some people see it as a requirement for senior management role. Another reason why people do MBA is to enjoy higher salaries, because for MBA you are taking like advanced classes on like strategy, negotiation, leadership. So some people also go for MBA so as to like have like that name on their resume and they can earn higher. Some people also go for MBA for expanded professional network. And as someone who has just spent 6 months in the MBA program, I can greatly say the MBA program has been an invaluable networking opportunity for me. I've met so many amazing people. My class size is over 600. By the way, I attend the University of Chicago Booth School of Business. I'm not speaking on behalf of the school. I'm speaking on behalf of myself, Temilade, as a student in the school. We have over 600 students in my class from different countries, over 40 countries, even some countries that, forgive me, I never heard about or was so curious to know about the country, but I have like classmates from those countries. You have classes with them, the professors are amazing. So by by next year, when I'm graduating from my MBA program, I would obviously have like at least one friend in at least 20 countries if I'm being intentional about my networking. And thirdly, for personal development, the MBA is very rigorous and the academic environment can help us to like grow both professionally and personally. And I can attest to that. Honestly, I barely had a life. I remember when I was in my previous job, I was like, I can't wait to leave my job. Once I start MBA, I'll have free time. Hey, there's no free time with my sister. Hey, once I'm done with this call, I have like a leadership thing from like 9 a.m. to like 1 p.m. Some of my friends are in Chicago right now. They're flying back today. I might not be able to see them, unfortunately. Not because I don't want to, but the MBA requires some commitment. Now, to go into like the myth, I can talk about why, if you are interested, why I went for my own MBA. But let me debunk some of the myths about MBA, and that was one of the things I struggled with during my time. You hear people say there's a particular age you can go for MBA, you must have 15 years experience, you are too young, you are too this. My own opinion, I would say have at least 4, 5 years of experience before going for your MBA. That is why my own from what I think I know. Have at least, even the MBA programs in the United States in particular would want you to actually have at least 4 years, but even for your own benefit, have at least 4 or 5 years of experience, because you're having conversations in class. You want to be able to contribute meaningfully in class. So you want to at least know, you want to understand some normal business, excuse me, terminologies and say something. So I would say have at least 4 or 5 years of experience before you go for your MBA. But don't let anybody tell you that, wait till you have 10 years experience, wait till you have 15 years experience. No, those are our parents' generation. The MBA thing has really changed. In my class, there are a couple of like young people. We actually have people that some of my classmates, some might be 24, 25. I mean, a few of them, but mostly we are we have 24, 25 years old in my class, but mostly are within the age of 26 to like 35. And you see, MBA is really interesting. You have like married people, you have people with children. Like it's quite an interesting community. So I would say that for me, just have 4 to 5 years of experience. You don't have to have 15 years of experience before you go for your MBA. You will still benefit regardless. I would say also that people say all MBA programs are the same. I totally disagree. Also, for example, I was speaking with somebody some months back, sometime last year, I think December or November. Oh, I want to go for MBA. I'm like, oh, fine. Like, I'm always open to giving back because everything I know, most of the things I know, someone spoke to me, someone created time for me. I was on a webinar, I gained something. So I'm like, come on, we can also like pay it forward. So I was on a call with her, just trying to, I was like, oh, why do you want to do an MBA? She wasn't so clear. And I'm like, hey, sis, like, you have to be very clear on why you want to do an MBA. For me, for example, my school has a strength in consulting and finance. It's another different story because right now I'm not even pursuing a career in either consulting or finance, but I really wanted to be in that space. I wanted to like, my school also has like a strength in like entrepreneurship. I wanted to like challenge myself in those areas and learn new things. Some schools have strength in like technology. When it comes to tech, this is the MBA. Like you want to continue in tech, this is the MBA school you should go to. Some schools have strength in investment banking. What you want to do investment banking, this is the school you should go to. Some schools have strength in what we call general management. This is the school you should go to. Some schools have strength when it comes to you want to build a startup. This is the school you should go to. So not all MBA programs are the same. They sort of vary, offering specializations and catering to your different career goals and interests. Lastly, an MBA is only for those interested in business. No, I totally disagree. People also and I'll be very honest, when I was still in like college, I used to think that I have to be like a startup founder or want to own a startup to go for MBA. No, that's not what an MBA is for. There are so many skills you can get from MBA and they can be applied to various sectors of work, tech, non-tech, education. We have people who non-profit, people who own like non-profit. They come to MBA school. You in my class, I know we have at least 5 to 10 people from Teach for America. They literally were teachers for 10 years and they used the MBA as an opportunity to like pivot to something else. Typically, people use MBA to pivot, either pivot geography, pivot to a new degree, but someone who has been a teacher for 10 years applying for MBA school and they are still getting in. So MBA is no, you must have a startup idea, you must have a company, you must be a CEO. No, you can be a normal human person, independent contributor who is, once you're able to tell your story and why you want to do your MBA, and an MBA school is going to accept. I think I'll stop there now and then just pass the mic back to you. Wonderful.
Yes, thank you. I think you've like started to do a lot of justice to some of the misconceptions and myths around who can do an MBA, when can someone do an MBA, and I think one very thing that stops people from going to an MBA is the work experience part, that they have to have a lot of work experience, or they have to have like a startup idea they're working on, or maybe they have their own startup. And so people will say, okay, maybe by the time I become a co-founder, or by the time I get to a top manager role, for instance, in a startup company, I can now go for an MBA. But I'm glad that you like brought a better perspective on those subjects. So we said who can go for an MBA. You said that anybody can go for an MBA, whether you're a teacher, you want to change careers, you want to maybe diversify your knowledge. Maybe you are just into like one aspect of business and you want to get more insights into maybe another aspect. So yes, thank you for that. So I think my next question would be like, what factors do we consider, or anyone that is interested in pursuing an MBA, what are the things that they should like, what checklist should we have and say, okay, this and this and this are the things that I would need, or I need to put into consideration before I can pursue an MBA? Is it location? Is it the school? Because you touched on how that some schools have like things that they are known for. Maybe they are known for consulting, they are known for finance, they're known for technology. So just things around that.
Yeah, that's a very good question, Wonderful. And these are the kind of questions like I expect people should ask when probably people that have like zero knowledge about like MBA. These are the kind of questions I expect them to ask before like when I'm having conversations with them. just funny thing, I was almost a similar time yesterday, or almost 24 hours ago. I was on another webinar for a friend is doing like a series because of his 30th birthday, and it was a webinar. And one of the things they asked, there was a question they asked. Now I'm trying to remember. I think maybe how do I decide what I do? How do I make my decisions? And I said, for everything we do in life, MBA, no MBA, anything, who you marry, who you, anything, literally, where you school, where you live, you should always ask yourself why. And starting with an MBA, I think one has to be even very clear on why do they want an MBA. Like, if your why is not clear, MBA is fun, but it's very rigorous and it's very expensive. If your why is not clear, you might be frustrated. So you have to be clear on why. Like, that's one checklist. Why am I even going for this thing? Again, it's more like most of you can relate. You're in school, you're taking exams, it's stressful. But you know why you have to make sure you pass the exam. You know why you have to make sure it works, because you have to graduate, all of those things. For MBA, why? Maybe you have to look for what you're trying to like apply. Not necessarily about I want to just graduate and have MBA at the back of my name. That's it. I don't personally, for me, I don't think that is a strong reason. You should have what you want to like apply it to. That's one. I will also say like the timing and your personal circumstances, like what career stage are you at right now? Do you think an MBA will be beneficial? Again, don't just do the MBA for the name. Ask yourself, do you think it's going to be beneficial for wherever you want to go to right now? Another thing is now going to be, like you said, the location. Wonderful. Location is also very, very, for me, location was not interestingly a core, it wasn't a core requirement for me. I mean, I've been to the US a couple of times before business school. So I've been a big fan of the US. Even before I even ever landed in the US or got my feet into the US, I've been a big fan of the United States as a country I want to school and maybe live for a while. So I was indifferent about location. But for some people, location is actually very important. To give a clear example, I live in Chicago. Chicago is very cold. When I mean very cold, I mean very cold. I think that's something I never expected. It is very cold. I remember speaking with a friend 2 years ago. She's from Africa. She's from Ghana, to be precise. Though she went for like a master's in a particular location, and we're just catching up, and she was telling me she was almost at the verge of transferring to another school because the weather was so cold where she was. That was affecting her. So location is very important. For me, like I said, for me, I didn't consider location when I was applying. I just wanted to get like a good top business school. That was all I was concerned about. I'm like, I will adjust whatever. I mean, would I, with location in mind, would I not choose Chicago? I'll still choose Chicago. I think one thing that was very important for me though, which I would maybe low-key recommend, I wanted a business school that is in a city. When I mean a city, I wanted to have an experience of the business school, also have an experience of the city. There are some business schools that are just in like closed environment. Honestly, everything has its advantages and disadvantages. If you have a business school that is somewhere in like a close, where everything around the place is just the business school and nothing else, the good thing about that is you get to bond well with your classmates. At least you know that before you graduate, these 2 years, we and these people, we are stuck with each other for these 2 years, and we have to know ourselves by fire by force. That's fine. Some people like that small community. Let me give like and I mean this, I'm not trying to diss any school, I'm just saying this to give a clear example. I would say UI is in like a city. University of Ibadan is in like a city because there is Agbowo. You can travel to so many places. OAU is like somewhere where they only have themselves. Like you hear people say OAU doesn't have a cinema. Like UI, you still get to experience like the city life per se. But with OAU, like they're just everything surrounding them is not that whatever. That's the example I can give. So I prefer to be in a school that is in a location like a University of Ibadan. Yeah, okay. There's a tech event somewhere else. I can easily, that is not within you. I can easily like take a bike or take a cab and just get there. So my school is like a city where there are so many things happening within the city outside of the business school that I get to enjoy. So location also like matters for me. For people who maybe you have a child, you are married, you want to be in a location where, for example, there is cheap daycare. There is like, so the location is very, for a couple of people, location should be important. But honestly, for me, when I was applying, I didn't really put so much emphasis on location. I was just fine with a location that in a top business school and all. I would also say that the program format, just also say there is full-time MBA, there's part-time MBA, there's online MBA. I would always recommend the full-time MBA, except you don't have a choice where you don't have a choice, and you have to do part-time, that's fine. But if you, and let me say something, maybe this will help like much younger people on the call. Most people, and my analysis might be wrong, from my observation, most people who do part-time have people who maybe they're already parents. I'm just giving examples. Maybe they're already parents. They've been working for like 10 years. They're like, you mean I will leave my job for 2 years and come and be schooling? So I feel like sometimes it is harder for people to go do MBA once they've gone up the ladder. Like, people have those dreams of, okay, when I become a chief vice president in my company, I will go. It's easier said than done. It's harder for you because big money is looking you in the eye. Like, you're mute, cut off in case you're speaking. I thought you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I was saying more responsibility as well.
More responsibility, big money. Like, I'll leave this my big salary job to come and be schooling for 2 years. So for me, I'm grateful I'm doing it at this point, because I was a little bit worried that if I stayed more in the work environment and everything, it might be harder. What if I already become like a mother? I mean, I'm not saying moms or whatever don't do, but I think it is harder. Let's be honest. Let's have conversations. Yeah. It's harder to do it then when you have so many responsibilities. Your husband to take care of, your child, your in-laws. It's harder for it to. For me, I just felt like it was the best time for me to do it. But just for clarity, there's full-time MBA, there's part-time MBA, there's online MBA based on your lifestyle and your needs. But I would recommend the full-time MBA because you get to have like the real good experience about like MBA. You get to mix with people, make new friends. I will say that whenever you're planning, please feel free to cut in if I'm maybe digressing or not. I wouldn't feel offended in any way. Couple of things I will say from an application standpoint. Of course, you need to have like a bachelor's degree. Then there is the exam that you must take. I would say that one advice I would give, regardless of MBA, normal master's, PhD, whatever you decide that you want to do, I would say that 1 year or 2 years from when you decide to go to school, or when you decide to, pardon me for clearing my throat, I would say that you should start writing your GRE or GMAT or whatever. When I was in my penultimate year internship, the one we did in 400 level, about 3 people in the company I was doing my internship at were writing GRE. I didn't even know, honestly, I didn't even know what GRE was. That's how ignorant I was. I was like, what exam is? He said exam for studying. I'm like, I wish you pour the best. I'm going to study abroad, but I mean, no, I'm not ready for the exam. I wish I took that exam when my brain was still hot with like academic knowledge, because ladies and gentlemen, it's hard. It's hard to prep for this thing when you're already like a working class, you're getting your NYC stipend, NYC is stressing you, you're doing LG, whatever it's called, and forgive me, I've forgotten. Like, I wish I wrote my GRE and all those exams when I was still in school, when mathematics and English was still dancing in my brain. I'm not saying it's not possible. I have friends that have done so well, but I had to write mine 3 times. And like 3 times, I had to write my exam 3 times because I wanted to get like a particular score too. So if I'm to give an advice, now, if you're looking to go to school, either PhD, master's, MBA, whatever, in the next 1 year or 2 years, please start writing the exam now. So that, God forbid, if you don't score a score you want, you have enough time to like retake it again. And those exams are expensive. So I feel, for my own personal, I feel like it's harder to do those exams when you're already like out of school, working class, you're taking Lagos long, we're in the traffic, all of those things. It's harder to have time to prepare. But that's by the way, you have to have that exam. I will also say that start highlighting who would be like your recommenders. Who would be your recommenders? Very important. So that, let me use this word, if you have to be toasting them between now and that 1 year later or 2 years later when you will need it, you have, now that is now 1 month to your submission, that's I want Mrs. Wonderful to be my recommender. You're now chatting now. Like, so if you want to start doing happy birthday, ma, happy new year, sir, happy anniversary, sir, start those things now. Don't wait till 1 year. Like, start building that relationship now, or start to be connecting with the people you've connected with before. So when it's time for you to say, hey, I want recommendation, it shouldn't be, because recommendation can sometimes take your time. I would say another thing to consider is financial consideration. I would not come and lie. MBAs are very expensive, very, very expensive. Like, this is the most I've spent on my career in my life. And it's a good investment for me, by the way, because I kind of, I feel it's a good risk. I considered like the return on investment because I did get a partial scholarship. So partial scholarship, and I had to like source funds from other ways, which I got some student loan, but that's by the way. So please, it's a huge risk. If there are some schools, I'll be very honest, I know of some schools that give like, you like as an average African or average Nigerian, there is a good chance that you get like full funding if you apply. But again, I just wanted to be in one of like the top 7 business schools. That was what I was very interested in. Though of course I also wanted like some like at least a top 7 business school that would give me like some form of scholarship, and then the rest I'll figure out myself. So I would say that the cost is also there. That's why I'm like, at what stage of life are you? Are you a mom, a father with children? Like, you want to consider those kind of things when you make that kind of investment. And I would say for me, one last thing I looked at, and that's why I chose my school, was like the postgraduate opportunities. What's the alumni network like? In my school, I would not even lie, till I finished school, I didn't know there was a school like University of Chicago, both MBA, till I finished my I know of the Harvards and the Stanfords and everything. I always say in Africa, you hear people mention more of Harvard, MIT, Stanford, but there are so many amazing business schools beyond Harvard, MIT. I love Harvard, I love MIT, I love Stanford. I applied to them as well. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm saying that there are other MBA schools outside of that. Like in my schools, every the CEO of Microsoft did his MBA in my school. He did MBA in my school. There are so many big people that did MBA in some of these schools. So for me, alumni network was very important. Who has schooled in my school before, such that where in America can I be that can say, oh, I went to this school, and they would relate to what I'm saying. So those were things that I would say people should consider. I mean, everything is we prioritize based on who you are, your level of interest, we prioritize these things accordingly. But those are things that I would say people should consider before. Wait, another thing that people sometimes consider that I did not on, again, like I said, I just wanted to get to a top business school for me. So people also consider they wanted to be in a business school that has a lot of Africans. There are some of those amazing business schools like that where you don't feel, and let's be honest, America, I'm sorry that I'm speaking about, like I can say a little bit about Europe and some of the other places. Business school where they had a lot of Africans. I know a lot of Africans. I know you people on the call. Like, let me also try to make, I'm not like I'm not saying I'm relating my Africans. Yesterday night I was still like in a dinner with like other Africans and African Americans. But I'm just saying that for me, my only criteria was I want to be in like a top business school. Some people who are fine with, oh, they want to be in a business school that are, there are a lot of Africans, and people who are mostly maybe parents already are the ones that mostly think that way, because they want to have someone that they can at least carefully leave their child to, or something, so that they leave their child in a comfortable place. One thing I would say that differentiates American MBA from Europe, when I mean Europe, some, not all actually, some European MBAs, some United Kingdom MBAs, American MBAs for 2 years. Some of the other ones in the United Kingdom, in Europe, they are 1 year. Again, everything has its advantage and disadvantages. For me, I felt like 1 year would be too much of a workload for me. Like within 1 year, I'll have to adjust into the country, everything. I mean, if you want a UK MBA, Europe MBA, so we have something called exchange, where you get to leave your American MBA for like 3 months, go to an MBA program in another continent. It is very possible. You get to meet them. But I think for me, I was fine with the 2 years. I didn't want to like rush my learning. I wanted to like take it bit by bit. And those schools are very wonderful. Imperial College, the London Business School, University of Oxford, they have like great MBA programs as well. There are a few of them that are 2 years in both UK and Europe, but most of them are like 1 year MBA program. Yeah. I'll stop there.
Thank you very much. I think my next question will just pick up on what you said about having to choose between maybe a full-time, part-time, or online MBA. So from your, maybe I know you'd have done like a lot of research about like each of them. Do you think like an online MBA would equate a full-time MBA, like in value?
That's $1 billion question. I will say a couple of things, and again, everything has its own advantage and disadvantages. Okay, maybe I should go back to the foundation. Why did I go and do an MBA? And
Yeah.
maybe this should like help with your out of school series. When I was done with school, there were some things I was very clear on, and I will use that to answer your question. There are some things I was very clear on, and there are some things I was not clear on. I was very clear on, do I want to do a PhD? Maybe in 10, 15 years time, not now. I was as clear on that one. Like I had so many of my close friends. Right now I have like a couple of my close friends in PhD program, and I honestly love it for them, always catching up. I always like, but I knew I didn't want that for myself. I was clear on I wanted to go for like a graduate program outside of my country, Nigeria. I wanted to like, I've done my bachelor's in Nigeria, grateful for the experience, wanted to like get exposed. I was clear on that one. The how, I wasn't sure. At some point I was like, either MBA or masters, I wasn't sure as well. So are there online MBAs? Yes, they are. I've done like one online school so far. It was an amazing experience, I'm not gonna lie. But online MBA means you are combining it with a 9 to 5, most likely. My brother, my sister. It is not that easy. Is online MBA cheaper? I think it is. But I think for me, I just wanted to have like a different education, like outside of, I wanted to be in a different location and understand education from that standpoint. Online MBA, like, I wasn't sure. I have friends who have done it, honestly, but I wasn't sure. How do I say it now? I wasn't sure how robust the networking was going to be. I wasn't sure the kind of dedicated career support an online MBA was going to give me. Again, please, thank God we are having a conversation. If there's anybody on the call who has a different opinion, honestly, I'm also learning. If you Some of you might even have like friends or loved ones or siblings who have done like the online MBA, and they have like, so for me, and I think for me, lastly, the reason why I did not even consider an online MBA, I've tried to take like online classes, and I realized that it is not for me. Let's not lie, let's not steal. It is not for me. Could work for me. Like it did not work for me. Like I'm always stressed because I didn't know how to differentiate when to stop my office work, and I didn't have that good balance. I wanted to like uproot myself from like normal office thing and be in school for like 2 years and be a student for 2 years. So I was fine with that. In terms of like online MBA, I feel like online MBA gives flexibility. You can balance your professional life and your personal life. That's fine. It's very cost effective. Maybe they're also like customizable learning. But I would, in terms of disadvantage for me and why I did not consider it, limited networking opportunity. And I feel like online MBA requires some form of self-motivation, which I wasn't sure I had, because I can get overwhelmed like office work. You know, your manager is like, deliver this, and then I could be slacking. I didn't want to like put money into something. And because I wanted to, like, for me, I wanted to honestly uproot myself from my continent and be in another continent and understand what it means to learn and grow in another continent. So that was why I chose like the full-time MBA. For some people, the online MBA works. I'm personally not going to look down on anyone with an online MBA because they are also learning. Like they are taking, just like, for example, now after some of my classes, after one of my classes, so I have I'm taking a brand management class. Shout out to my professor. He has worked at Microsoft. I think he has worked at Goldman Sachs. Like being able to like chit chat with your professor after, like virtual connection is hard. Like it's not the same as like he knows my face. It will remind me, remind me how to pronounce your name again. I tell him how to pronounce my name. We chit chat about life, about career. Why did you choose this? Why did you choose that? Like with online MBA, like your professor will not stay. I don't know. Maybe the professor stay on the call after and say, okay, I'll be on the call if you want to be just with me. Come on. It's
Probably
just
has to do another call.
even your classmates. For me personally, I'm not someone that easily also connects with people online. Like, how would you get to know your classmates like online? It's hard and all of those things. So I considered both and knew that I wanted to do like a full-time MBA. It is more expensive, but I feel like it ticks all my boxes. I wanted to like get like some core leadership skill. With full-time MBA, you get to be like you can be a student leader. Like physically, I'm one of the incoming like women in business co-chair in my own school, my school. Like you get to be like physically do things, meet people, which online MBA would not allow you because you actually have two lives. You're having like your family, your academic, I mean your professional life, and then you have the academic one as well. So yeah, I chose a full-time MBA because of that. But honestly, if you want an online MBA, there are a couple of them. Even like, does my school do an online MBA? I know there are some MBA schools in the US that actually have like online MBAs as well. Yeah. And there is Quantic, there's Next4, there's a couple of others.
Yeah. Thank you for clearing that up for us. So if there's anyone that is trying to like make a decision on whether to go all in or to just do an online MBA, I think you have like more clarity on what to choose now. So moving on to my next question. Looking at all that you learned, you said you are in for 6 months now. So like from the things that you've experienced, the knowledge you've gained, how do you, or if you want to advise someone, what do you think will be like the benefit, or how does an MBA add to one's career, or how does it prepare one for a better career basically? Because I feel like an MBA is like you trying to skill up to move forward in your career. So in what areas do you like see an MBA aligning with career goals and amplifying like your prospects?
So thank you, Wonderful. One of the things about MBA is, okay, so let me give you a random example. There's someone I know. MBA is also, okay, let me put this disclaimer. I don't know why I'm having this thing, but please forgive me. MBA is also, whatever you put into is what you get out of it. Let's be very honest. If you like pay $1 billion, if you are not doing your assignment, you're not participating in class, you are done with your MBA, you're wondering, what did I gain? So it's also whatever, how you immerse yourself into the program, that's what you will get out of it. Let me start with that. Then I would say that MBA is, let me give a typical example. When I was applying, there's somebody I know, finished from my undergrad, the University of Ibadan. It was in engineering. I know this person when this person graduated. So we've not connected for a while. And then we connected in the process of me applying, because I applied to the person's school. We connected, we were on a call and just talking like, hey, well, come and guide me on how to do it, come on. And me and the person on the call, like we're two on the call, he was advising us. After the call, we jumped on the call like, bro, this guy is really different. He's more outspoken. He's more like, it's just something different about this person. Like 1 year into his MBA program. This one that used to be very shy in school and everything. But again, when we spoke to him, there are so many opportunities for development within the MBA program. Like I said, what I'm going for after this session is a leadership thing that I intentionally like signed up for. I mean, there are so many things. If you like, take it. If you like, don't take it. Like nobody's going to force you off, throw things down your throat. It's up to you to know. That's why I'm like, you have to ask yourself why. If you know why you're coming for an MBA, you know the opportunities you want to make use of. Opportunities with most MBAs have strong leadership program where by the end you learn how to give feedback, you learn how to take feedback, you learn how to negotiate, you learn like basic leadership skills. How do you handle when you have a subordinate who is not like maybe acting well? How do you handle things? How do you balance your business with like purpose and all of those things? So for me, number one thing I've gotten out of the MBA program is like leadership. I think I now understand better what it means to be a leader. I mean, still like a work in progress. I'm just I'm just like 1/4 into my MBA journey. I still have like about 12 months-ish to go if I'm not wrong. So leadership, check. So one thing about MBA school also is one of the ways you can do well in class is you have to speak up. Speaking up has its own like score for all the classes. If you like score 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, exam, score 100, 100, speak up. The only way you can, one of the ways you can get an A is like speaking up. You're answering questions in class. You're asking about case studies. So constantly speaking up has this sort of like confidence. It helps you build really. Like you before you know, you just realize that, oh, I'm very confident. I can face anybody. And also because you are now speaking up in a class filled with people from different countries, you become very confident in like your color, in your personality, in your accents, because during 2 years of speaking up, excuse me, doing 2 years of speaking up in a class where there are people from different countries. Once you're done with your MBA, you can speak up anywhere because you're like, in my class, if I'm speaking up, even when they are like people from different countries, I'm still able to like confidently speak up. So what is speaking up somewhere else that I cannot do? That's another one. Another thing I would say is cultural awareness. There's so many things happening outside the bubble of your country that you need to know. With conversations with people, you hear things that like, oh, I didn't know this exists. Oh, I didn't know that exists. Oh, I did. Like you're having rich conversations with people. So you are more culturally aware than ever before. That's another thing I am getting from the MBA program. Things to do, things not to do when you're like in a particular country. You're getting like some culture, how they greet, how they don't greet, what you should wear, what you should not wear. You're getting those like awareness. Sorry, let me put this thing. There's a ping coming, pardon me. Let me just put so that it doesn't keep making noise. Then there was something else I wanted to say that I think skipped my mind, but I remember in a bit. Okay, now another thing about MBA programs is you do like cases, like case study, like most school you like Harvard Business School case study. I know a lot about so many companies right now than I knew before I got into the MBA program. There is a particular fast food in America called Chick-fil-A. I've eaten their food once in a while. But one of my case book exposed me to the story of how Chick-fil-A started, and it really inspired me because Chick-fil-A was started by a Christian businessman. Like, I never knew about those things. So MBA school would expose you to like different sectors, different companies, how they grew, the challenges they had. I'm taking a class of financial accounting right now, and as someone who knew absolutely zero about financial accounting, now I am more knowledgeable when companies, the big companies, the Amazons, the Microsofts, the Google, when they bring out their earnings reports. Now I can read their financial statement and make sense about it. I can learn a number of things about like, okay, this company is making profit, this company is making a loss, all of those things. I can make sense of those things on my own, such that when I end up as a C-suite in another big company, or maybe I have my own company, I can make sense of profit and loss statement and all of those things. So that level of exposure MBA gives me. There are a couple of like hard skills. I've mentioned the financial management one. Most MBAs are very like data driven. You do a lot of like collecting data, analyzing data, interpreting data, making business decisions. You do a lot of that in the MBA program. In 3 weeks, I'm starting a new class called Global Social Enterprise. And that class, they're going to connect me with an existing social enterprise, not just in the United States, in India, in China, for me to work with them for 11 weeks. So imagine working with, I'm here in America, but I'm working in 11 weeks with a social enterprise, helping them to like problem solve. Another thing I did last year that I'm really proud of, I don't know, let me know if I'm the non-bougie one. Do you guys know something called InSoul? Who understands what's called InSoul? Please feel free to like raise your hand if you do. It might be something you know, but I mean, InSoul is not common in Nigeria or Africa, or maybe I'm the one who is ignorant. Apparently, insoles exist in some of the sneakers we wear. They're like some of those things to make your shoe. Insole, like INSOLE. Thank you, Constella, but INSOLE. Yes. There are some of those things they put within the shoes to make your sneakers very comfortable. I did not know about it. I got to work on an insole, like a 11 weeks project with an insole company. It was very mind blowing for me. I did not realize all these my Nike sneakers, my New Balance, they had like insoles inside them. Like the level of exposure, I feel like I am, for someone like me who loves exposure, I am more exposed than ever before. Like some things are like I'm learning new things that I never knew, or things that don't exist in my country but exist in like developed continents. So there is also like so many strategy. Gosh, you do strategy assignments. You will do strategy assignments such that you'll be so confident to want to, I'm starting my own consulting firm after. Like you'll be so confident to want to start something on your own. So many like marketing strategy assignments, business strategy assignments. If you take classes that are entrepreneurship related, there's something called, again, there was a new terminology I learned called entrepreneurship through acquisition. Again, I'm being vulnerable here. I never knew something like that. What I knew about entrepreneurship is, okay, you start your startup, you raise money, but apparently entrepreneurship through acquisition is a thing where you now buy companies that exist. When I mean buy, I don't mean you're buying a pay stack or you're buying a Flutter Wave. I mean, those ones exist, but I mean you're buying like other ways they make money here in like developed world is somebody can have a chain of maybe laundromat. Like somebody has like a laundromat that has like 100 locations across the United States. There's somebody else to buy it, like buy that business, and it's bringing them like some cool income at the end of every month or something. Like there are so many amazing things I've been exposed to. Soft skills wise, there's leadership and management, there's communication, there's problem solving and decision making. MBA would always make you think like an entrepreneur all the time. And most importantly, you would have like a global perspective about life, about business, about cross-cultural management. But I think I will stop there.
Thank you very much. I see that Shola raised his hand. You can drop your question, or even if it's a contribution in the chat, or you can just wait for us to like have the Q&A session where everyone can now ask their questions and unmute their mic. So I'll just like you to give us like a peek into your application process. You mentioned that you had like some schools in mind, that is the top 5 schools, which is like, that is very.
So it was more like I honestly played around like the top 10 schools. I played around like the top 10, and it was my own personal decision. There are other strategies to. Let me know if you still want to finish your statement, but and if you want me to continue, I can come in.
Yeah,
right now.
so I just wanted to just run us through the application process to those schools. What are the things that they required? I know you've mentioned recommendation and work experience, 4 to 5 years. So like, what other things? Maybe there were personal statements you had to write, or there were maybe portfolios you had to present, just things along those lines. And you also mentioned GRE. You can also like go through that GRE.
I'll start by saying different schools have, I mean, the application process is somewhat general. At the same time, some schools have some unique criteria. I remember MIT told me to do something called organizational charts, which I was hearing for the first time. So it means that in your organization where you presently work, draw a chart. Okay, this is the president, the CEO of the company, the C-suite, the vice president, my manager. This is where I am. You want to know where you are in some schools have some unique things. Some schools will tell you to do a video submission. MIT really stressed me. Now that I think about it, I'm just joking, but I mean, I still love them. Like, because I also did a video submission after the organizational chat again. Like, it was different, but generally, of course, there is the GRE you have to write. So there's GRE, there's GMAT. I can help differentiate both. And the reason why I wrote GRE, I wasn't confident in my decision if I wanted to do GRE. I mean, I wanted to do MBA or in just maybe a normal master's in like engineering management and stuff. With what I know, and please, if anyone knows better, feel free to debunk. GMAT can only be used to apply for MBA. You can't use your GMAT to apply for like, okay, I will attend to the last question later. GMAT is mostly used. Stella would attend to your question when Wonderful gives me the chance to. GMAT is mostly used to apply for MBA. You can only use it for an MBA. You can't use your GMAT to apply for a master's. But GRE allows you the flexibility to apply for both MBA and master's with your GRE. GRE has an expiry period of 5 years. That means you write your GRE, you scored like a 330 over 340, you're very happy with your score. You don't plan to rewrite your GRE because you like your score. For the next 5 years, hopefully the rules have not changed, but I think my information is correct. For the next 5 years, if you like keep applying to school every year, you can still use that GRE of 4 years ago, 3 years ago to apply. And you can use it to apply for either MD or masters, anyone, every year, anyone you want. But GMAT, like I said, has that restriction of like only MBA. And number 2, I think GMAT has an expiry of 3 years, if I am not wrong. So for me, I chose GRE because I felt it was more flexible. And of course, the exams are just like math, and they call it quantitative and verbal, quant and verbal, yeah. But you have to prep. There are so many prepping materials for that. Like, honestly, there are so many. You can even check online, so many videos on YouTube. I won't go too much into that. Other things you need to prepare, of course, your resume. For me, I would say that whenever you plan to apply for MBA, master's, PhD, anything, make sure you have a community of people who are also doing the same thing. Because at some point, the journey can get very daunting and you want support system, people that will ginger you and everything. So I had like that community. One thing I love about us as Nigerians and Africans in general, it's not always too hard to form community. It's not always too hard. We always easily get ourselves together, create those WhatsApp group pages. So those WhatsApp group pages really helped me, to be fair. They really helped me. So I had the community of, I was in that community where people will update, okay, this is how, guys, I got this information. I think it's be helpful for everybody, all of this kind of community. Your resume has to be like one-page resume. MBA schools out, nobody wants, except you have worked for 15 years. Nobody expects you to have a two-page resume. Even typically, any of you can do this right now. Just go on Google search, Harvard Business School, MBA resume. Like some schools have on their websites how they want your resume to look like. They'll give you a template, just copy and paste your things inside it and submit a one-page resume. That's all. Then, like I mentioned, the recommendation, most schools require 2-3 recommenders. Please start, let me use the word, posting your recommenders now. With that MBA master's page, you start like, oh, happy new month, happy new month, happy birthday, all of those things. Because you don't, I mean, for someone like me, I'm indifferent. But somebody else might say, oh, you've not spoken with me for 3 years. Now remember I exist, all of those things. So it depends on the relationship you have with your recommender. I mean, I used my managers at work. So it wasn't my manager and a colleague. So it wasn't that hard for me. But people that want to use like lecturers, all of those things. Then another thing would be, for me, in terms of like planning, I started planning, school resumes September. One thing about American education, and mostly, not even American, I think that most masters and MBA program, you have to start a year before. So randomly, I'm on a call with a family friend early this January. She's like, Temilade, I want to, no, not even January, February. We spoke this February that just passed. I want to go to school this year. I'm like, my dear, I don't think it's possible because application has closed since last year. She was like, maybe I didn't. She was like, no, you don't understand. Like, I want to go to school this September. I'm like, yes. For September application, they close like December, January, February. So you're already late. So putting it on this call that if you are planning, for example, me who wants to like resume September for MBA school, so I resumed September 2024. I started actively planning July 2023. By July 2020, I was writing my GRE, all of joining information session of the schools I want to go to listen to them, to be sure that I really like the school, I like the vibe, everything. Started applying for like started applying for application fee waivers because I now have $200, $50 to be paying for application fee. I started joining those things, applying for application fee waiver and everything. By September, October, all my recommenders knew that, ladies and gentlemen, you have to help me. They already knew I wanted to apply everything. So I made sure I submitted all of my application second week of December to like second week of January. So middle of December / middle of January was when I submitted all my applications. I did most of my interviews in January, February. By March, I already got my admission. So if you are trying to now apply in February, I don't know. You can't, it's like there's round 1, there's round 2, there's round 3. Don't get me wrong. I applied round 2. And as an international student, people typically say apply round 1 or worst case, apply round 2. If you apply round 3, I'm not saying it's not possible, but you might get the admission with zero funding. You might not even get the admission at all because let's be honest, there's also the visa part for us as international students. You want to get your admission on time because round 2, you get your admission in March. Round 3, you get your admission in April, May, and you're meant to resume in July. And you know what it means to like get a visa date in our country and all of those things. So I did round 2 to be safe and then all of those things. What are other things I put into consideration? I mean, honestly, I'm not like the best writer, I'll be very honest. And even if you are a great, well-respected writer in the world, I would always say, have a second eye look at your story because they'll ask you typical questions. They'll ask you, what are your long-term and short-term plan? What are you proud of? How will you give back to the school? Why do you want to choose this school? They'll ask you all of those questions and you write it in an essay. Always have a second eye to look at it. And most importantly, to make sense, if that second eye. So for example, if you're applying to Harvard Business School, make sure the second eye is a student also in Harvard Business. You can say, I know my school very well. This thing you're writing, while it's not adding up. Like some schools will ask you in your essay, what matters most to you? Like you need to and it's good if you have those. The good thing about this MBA program is right now on their website, whatever essay they are going to ask is permanently on their website. So even if you plan to apply 2 years later, you can know what your application essay is right now. So I can begin to like reflect on this. Girl, storytelling is hard. Like it is very, very, you think, you not to tell them about myself. I'll just no. You have to like take a number of time to like reflect, think about it. And all. It's not something you can just crash do in like 1 week and submit. You need like 2-3 months. Make sure it's somebody, if you're applying to whatever school you're applying to, University of Oklahoma, make sure somebody in University of Oklahoma also has a student has the opportunity to like read your essays and tell you, okay, we think this will fly, this will not fly. Some people, I have people who got like consultants. I didn't have the money for a consultant, and I was like, I'm gonna figure these things out myself. If you're like maybe you're extremely busy, you're an investment banker, you're a consultant, you don't have time, and you have the money to get a consultant who will like be guiding you with checking your essays stuff. I didn't use a consultant. I got into like a good business. I mean, along the line, when I got the admission, I joined a program by a company called Titan Har. It's called EdStart. So EdStart means you've gotten the admission as an international student, but what are things you can now do to make sure that you're not jonesing? Like, how do you make sure you get like a good internship? So EdStart gave me the program by Titan Har, gave me like, it was a paid program. It gave me a good perspective on things I need to know. How should I hit the ground run as soon as I resume? So yeah, I will stop there. But let me know if you have like any specific question that you wanted me to answer regarding the application and I did not answer.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think we can open like the ground for questions, so that if you have maybe a question, you can just raise your hand, then I can just look at the queue. And okay, so Shola asked the question, but just before we get to that, I just need you to like just tie up on the application process. So from your experience, maybe reviewing like criteria or requirements from different schools, like is there like a pattern you have seen across different schools on some of the questions they ask you, that maybe if you don't probably have that now, you can now start building it up to when you now start applying?
Yeah, that's a good point. Wonderful. Why do you want an MBA is always a question you would ask. Why do you want an MBA? Why do you want to come to this school? And the weird thing is, why do you want to come to Harvard from why do you want to go to University of Texas, from why you want to go to Darden MBA? Like, the why is very different for the different schools because they have different strengths. So for you, if you're applying to like 6 schools, you can't give the same reason why you want to go to Harvard, the same reason why you want to come to Chicago Booth, no, because those schools are different. For example, I can say, I want to come to Chicago Booth because of the Polsky Center of Entrepreneurship. I've heard a lot about the Polsky Center of Entrepreneurship, and now I can grow. You can't go and write that same thing inside Harvard because Harvard's entrepreneurship is not called Polsky Center. Yeah. So you have to align the why. The hardest part is why this school. General question you have is why MBA, why this school, whatever school you are deciding. What are your short-term and long-term plan? What do you plan to get out of this MBA program? What are student activities or student clubs you're interested in? How do you plan to give back? Some schools like Harvard, Stanford, MIT, they have some very unique questions like what matters most to you in life and why. Like that's their own essay. And then you have to think and think. So some schools have some very interesting. I know Harvard, Stanford, I think MIT, a couple of other schools, they have like some unique. The one is not the normal short-term, long-term. It's just actually one essay. What is important most to you in life? Write in 900 words and why. And that's what they used to judge if they would invite you for an interview. By the way, there's always interview where I don't know if I keep that in. After you submit, you will now be interviewed. You sit down, they'll ask you questions, then they'll now decide if they want you to come to the school or not.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. But again, like I said, everybody, please, for any school you are interested in, feel free to go to their their website. You will see the essay questions there already. Whilst you are moving on, I'll drop 2 links that are very helpful for people interested in MBAs. Just you can go ahead. Wonderful. If I get Financial Times, you can keep saying what you're saying. Wonderful. I'm trying. I'll multitask and listen to you.
Yeah, I just have 2 more questions really. You mentioned that you got like a partial scholarship, and you like have to like figure out the rest yourself. Are there like possibilities of getting full funding for MBAs, and like how likely is that, and what other options for funding your MBA exist?
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, I didn't get full funding. Not because I didn't get full funding, so I got like a partial scholarship, and I'm on a student loan as well. Initially, I was like, hey, student loan. Hey, when I schooled in Nigeria, I did not take any loan. So it was very weird for me at first. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, hey, loan, God forbid, over my debt, but God forbid. But I think what someone said something that really inspired me. Adenike Ogulesi, the founder of Rough and Tumble. Randomly, I mean, I'd gotten my admission. It was between signing the offer and knowing that I'm going to take like a student. I did try to negotiate to get some extra funding. Some schools I got extra funding, some schools I did not get. She said something that really inspired me. I will paraphrase because it was during, I don't know, I think sometime in May, Pastor Baju's church, Covenant Nation. Pardon me for the non-Christians. I will make sure I strike the point I'm trying to strike or get to the point I'm trying to get to. They did like a session. I don't know. They invited Bukmawoshika, a couple of people, if I'm not wrong. But she was sharing her own story, and she said something that inspired me. It was more like she said it in a way that sounded like she was sharing the story of how Rough and Tumble moved from like maybe being a one location store to like having like so many branches across Africa or across Nigeria, if I'm not wrong. So she was saying how she needed to like get like a loan from I think the bank, if I'm not wrong. It was a huge amount of loan, like a huge amount of loan. So she said something that really blessed me. It was more like sometimes you have to take to break through into that next thing you want to get to. You have to take some, in quote, calculated like risk and get something. Like you need something to push you. You need that loan from the bank to help a company get to where it wants to get to. I think for me, I'm like, I mean, I'm happy. I had a good job in Nigeria. I was working previously at Google. Like my life was good. I'm not gonna lie. I had a very, very chilled, moderate, good, soft life. I had a driver that picks me up in the morning, drop me back. I had breakfast and lunch in the office, a decent salary that could help me thrive in Nigeria. I was living good healthcare, insurance. Like I was honestly very fine, but I knew that I wanted more, and I was too much in my comfort zone. Because I'm like, God forbid if this bubble bursts, God forbid something happens to my job at Google. This is how my life will just. I need to like make myself like I just wanted to do something. I've always wanted to do an MBA. And people always, I'm learning to like just do whatever I want to do in my life. Like just don't be too relaxed and my job is making me happy. I'll just be happy and just stay there. I've spent like over 2 years on the job. So I'm like, okay, I can go and challenge myself with something else. So I had to choose between like either canceling and reapplying or taking my partial scholarship and the loan. And I decided to go for that because I'm like, I have to honestly make a sacrifice with my life. Maybe the consequence of the loan can mean when I'm done with school, my MBA program, because I have to like repay off my loan as someone who does not like having like a loan to my throat. Maybe it means after my MBA program, my life I'll not be, you don't see me say, oh, I've launched my Tesla, I've launched my whatever. I will just live like a very decent life, which I'm fine. I mean, I may be wrong. Everybody has different opinion. The good thing is I'm not a spendthrift. I'm a very basic level spender. I don't, maybe one trip a year, I'm fine, that kind of thing. So maybe at least for the first 2-3 years of my MBA, I have to live a very decent life, not la vida loca. Every birthday I'm flying, everybody's birthday party, I'm jumping here and there till I pay off my loan. That's fine for me. Like decent life, there is electricity, I have like America is a good, to the best of my knowledge, it's like the basic of all the amenities. I'm like, I'm fine. I would thrive. Like if that's a sacrifice I have to make for my career, for my education, I wouldn't mind. I was fine with making that sacrifice. I was very comfortable. And of course, I prayed about it as well, by the way, as someone who is a person of faith. But to answer questions, are there full-time scholarship? Yes, they exist. I wouldn't discourage they are full-time. I know a few people that went for MBA program fully funded. I mean, the interesting thing is the dynamics are changing. I don't know why. But even if you don't get a full-time funding, you got partial. The school, so the student loan I got is the school are the ones that will get you the, what's it called? The schools will get you the like loan agent. Another one, it's not like you get the loan from a Nigerian bank. No, the loan is from an American, what's it called? An American Bangkok. So the schools have like all the plug. Some schools even have loans. Some schools will borrow you money. Like the school is the one borrowing you money. Some schools have like third-party loan agent that they're like, okay, they've gone to negotiate people from our school will come and get some loans from you. This is how much interest they want to do, blah, 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 blah. So the American education system has enough support for you as an international student, or most American universities, let me not generalize, they have enough support for you. If you want to get loan, they have all the necessary. And my school even did this thing where they even invited us to like a finance planning session. Okay, as an international student who is on loan, how do you make sure you plan your finance and everything? Honestly, I live like a very like decent life. I'm not suffering because I have a loan. My loan covers like my living expense. I live like very good, normal human being life. Not like I don't have a car to myself because I generally do not even need a car. Like there's a train, I can do train. Like I was doing bus, yellow bus in Nigeria. So what is a train here that I cannot do? So I didn't come here to want to live like a La Vida local life. So I just wanted to like genuinely learn and grow and live like a very decent, basic human being life. And that's what I'm doing. I'm enjoying my MBA. I don't have anybody running after my head for school fees. My scholarship and loan is paying for that, and even the scholarship and loan is also paying for some of my living expense. So I'm in a good place. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, yes, you did.
Shola, but please, if you have more specific, it's fine. I will not come here and be acting like, oh, I got fully funded. No, I'll tell you the truth as it is. I'll tell you the things I considered and everything. But it was a good, I think for me, so far I have no regrets. I think it's a good investment for me.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
What you said about, God forbid, when people hear students loans.
Yes, that was me. I'm not gonna lie. I
feel like I'm going to have a webinar talking about student loans because some people get these opportunities, but because it's not a fully funded and they don't want to say. I'm sorry.
No. Honestly, I can totally relate.
Yeah.
I should not like some days I'm like, hey God, I beg you, I must get a good job or after and all of those things. But I mean, honestly, there are also some what's the word? Because I don't want people dragging me on Twitter. There are also some, what's the word now? Because it depends on the country you're coming to. And I'll speak from the United States angle. Coin is a good debt. Thank you. Let me give an example. Okay, let me see what I want to say, and I'll say something based on what coin you typed. Though the US has this thing where, God forbid, someone does not get a job 60 days after graduation, they have to like most likely go back to. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we
okay,
can.
Wonderful was frozen. I think my internet is shaking, but if you can hear me, that's fine. You have to like go back to your country and all of those things. So people, there's that fear of, hey, God forbid, what if I don't get something? I would not like, once in a while, that fear comes to mind. But again, I prayed about it. I won't be the first Nigerian or African to get student loan, and I won't be the last. I even have people that got the old money, they got zero funding, and they got the old money, their old schools, everything on student loan. I won't be the first, I won't be the last. And I feel like I pray about it. God just helped me direct my step. I prayed about it, but above all, I'm like, yes, I'm aware of. I'm not scared. Sometimes when I was shared my old MBA thing, family and friends, like, hey, I went through the US on this, on that. No. I'm not working based on fear. I'm trying to like do what I want to do, pray to God and take my calculated risk. Koyi said something that I want to emphasize on. I was speaking with and everybody has their own opinion, to be honest. Nobody is right, nobody is wrong. Somebody else say, this guy is such a fool for taking a loan for that kind of academics. But somebody else say, oh, thumbs up. And everybody has different opinion and I don't care. And that's why I always say, Madam Ibuka Oshika will say to thyself, be true. Like, be true to yourself. What do you want? What do you want out of life? Don't let any other person's opinion stresses you or stress you rather. I was speaking with a senior friend, very close friend of mine, about who I'm coming to the US, taking some student loan because I got partial funding. And he was like, hey, don't take it, oh, blah, 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 blah. But interestingly, this same person did plan to spend like almost something as high as my my school fees. The person wanted to spend it on a destination wedding in Europe. So to the person, taking that kind of money, spending it on a destination wedding in Europe is worth more than taking it for education. I mean, I won't say the person is wrong. I won't say the person, but we all know what matters most to us. Like we all know, choose what matters most to you and go for it. Like some people, if you ask me, I prefer to take that money and use it for my academics and could do a 2-man wedding, 3-man wedding. Me, my daddy, my parents, my family, my husband's parents, we come together. I prefer and we do maybe a $1,000 wedding. I prefer if I'm to weigh, I have two options. Take this money, spend it on my academics. Take this money, do it for destination wedding. Spend it on academics. So again, it doesn't mean I'm right and the person is stupid or the person is right. Everybody just always know what matters most to you and go for it. I think that's the summary. And just like Connie said, loan is a good debt. Borrowing money for wedding is a bad debt. But borrowing money for your academics, for your career growth, I am so sure that this thing has like a good investment is a very good debt. Yes, let me just put it that way.
Thank you very much, Temilade. It's been
Thank
a
you.
very insightful session so far. So I'll just allow anyone that has like a question while we take Solomon's question in the chat. Solomon says, hi Temilade, thank you for this session. I'd like to find out if the 5-year work experience is a rigid general criteria, and did you have full 5 years that's of experience?
So I had someone help me calculate it. March 2020 to September 2024 is how many years of work experience? That was how long I worked for before I started my MBA. So March 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, I had 4 years and 6 months work experience for starting my MBA. Most business school would write in the application that please have at least 4 years before you come. So I'm not saying, I think I'm saying from what I understand from the landscape of things. If you have 4 years experience, I think you are good. If you have 4 years upward, I think you are good to be able to like assimilate well in like an MBA class. I think, but again, to thyself be true. If you're like, you want to have 8 years before you go, that's fine. It's just my own personal recommendation. But even most business school in the application, they will ask you that make sure you have at least 4 years of work experience before you apply. Some even say 3 years of work experience before you apply. So it's not a rigid rule. It's not a rigid criteria. But I mean, in the application, just check the application of the school you are trying to apply to. They'll tell you 4 years, 3 years. But for me, I wanted to make sure I had like at least 4 years before I applied to business school. I don't know if that answers your question, Solomon.
Solomon, you can maybe drop a message or give a thumbs up if that answers your question. If you like,
I wanted to send some links to the chat. I will send them right away. These are so many links to give you info about like MBA programs in the world, MBA programs in America. I'll just drop them. Then there's one more, Poet and Quant. Let me see, Poet and Quant. This Poet and Quant, like, please, you can sleep on that website. So they talk mostly about like just MBA schools in. Did I send the right link? Okay, yeah. There's one more I want to send, but my internet is buffering, but I'll make sure I send it before.
Okay. I think we can just take this question while you're helping us with this link. So the question is, what qualities do you think distinguished you from the pool of applicants who applied to Chicago Boost, especially as an African? So what do you think, maybe during the interview phase, what do you think stood out to the admissions committee or however they are called? So especially like as an African.
Yeah, they are called admission committee. We call them ADCOM, admission committee. That's a good question. I'm trying to see how to answer the question. I personally also believe that some things about life are also about like grace and or luck, like some of us call it like luck. Which is why with MBA, always spread your risk. Don't just, except I know people that say they only apply to like one school, they can only do one school or nothing, like fine. But I did apply to like over 5 schools just to like spread my risk so that at least if one does not pick me, the other one will pick me. Because I just wanted to like really go for MBA 2024. I would say, to the best of my knowledge, I made sure I knew my onions well. I had enough. I think preparation is very important. I had enough time to like make sure so many people reviewed my essay. They reviewed my resume. I got like strong recommendation. I made sure I had all of. So I wasn't doing like last minute rush. I made sure everything was well prepared. I submitted a good essay, good resume, good everything. If they wanted me to do a video, I wear suits. look like a serious madam. Say, oh, hi, my name is Temilade. I'm interested in applying to MIT MBA because MIT Sloan MBA because I was giving them like premium, proper girl. I mean, to the glory of God, I scaled through the and I had a genuine story. Let me be very honest. Be very genuine with your story. Don't try to be what you are not. Don't try to tell what you are not. You come from a very humble background. Talk about it. You lost your job at some point. Talk about it. You had like a life challenge that impacted you. Talk about it. Anything, like be very vulnerable with your MBA story. Don't try to want to sound like something you are not. I think that one thing MBA outcomes take note of is authenticity of your story. You have to be very authentic. Don't be something else. Don't go and copy somebody else's essay and say, I read that this person wrote this and got full funding. Let me to write. No, just be you. Be you. Tell your story as you are. Because even when doing the interview phase, they would some of the things you wrote in your application, they'll ask you to say it again. Oh, you said something happened to you as a child. Oh, you said, do you mind sharing more about it? Imagine you're now stuttering because you lied in your app. You wanted to sound very emotional and everything. Like, tell your story. Talk about your achievement. Like, don't be. This is something where every year tens of thousands of people all over the world apply. So you want to put your best foot forward. Like, tell your stories. You won this award. You did this. There was a part where they asked, I think one of the MBA questions asked me about like failure. I told them how I realized I failed a class in like my penultimate year in school, even though I still finished with a first class. Like I was very vulnerable with that story. Like, but most importantly, I told them these were the lessons I picked from it. Maybe I was extremely overconfident. Told them like everything, like just be very true. Tell them what matters most to you in life, which is why I'm like, you have to even be clear on why you want to do that MBA. Is that why that would drive every other thing? If you're not even clear, you just want to do it because everybody is doing an MBA, which I want to do it. It might be hard for you to know the kind of story you want to tell. For me, I wanted to change geography. I felt like I've done a lot of great work in Africa. I wanted to like understand what it means to like work in like a corporate company in America. I wanted to like learn leadership skills. I wanted to like broaden my network. I wanted to like I knew that I'm going to be like a C-suite business leader in a few years, but unfortunately, I only have engineering degree and work experience. So I wanted that MBA to help me brush up my C-suite skills and everything. So that was very clear on what I wanted to get out of the MBA program. So whenever they asked me a question, I knew how to answer those things. I don't know if that answers your question. Wonderful.
It does. Yes, it does. Thank you so much. So we have like some minutes to go. So I just open the floor for questions for those.
Please, guys, feel free to ask me any question.
If you have a question, please, you can unmute your mic. You can raise your hand first, then I'll just ask you to unmute your mic and you can ask your question. But thank you so much, Temilade, for the session so far. I feel like this could have not been any better. Even personally, like I have like some take homes for myself, and first of all, I need to go and get those work experiences, and then we can come back to this. But yes, it gives a better perspective onto whether or not being now.
I think Shola has his hands up.
Shola, you can unmute your mic and ask a question.
Yes, good afternoon, ma. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, sir.
So first of all, I came late. I'm sorry for come that I slept off. So when I said that the alarm was ringing, the time has gone because the last meeting I was not even available. So I don't know what you are actually talking about from that.
Don't worry, there's a recording. There's a recording. You can go back to listen. I'll upload it on my YouTube in a few hours, so you can go back and listen, or by tomorrow latest. Okay. So, do you have like a question specifically you want to ask?
Okay, the question I want to ask is concerning the application in general. So, if there's a way you can put somebody through and the time that the application used to be available, so that person can actually apply. Because I've concerning the whether the scholarship or on the, I think.
So is it my network that is breaking off, Shola's? Can you guys hear?
Are you there?
His network is breaking.
Okay. Shola, if you can hear us, you can just type your question in the chat
Get
so that we
to
Yeah,
can
so
read
I
it
did
out.
can type. The network is breaking. But I
Yeah.
know I heard you say something about application. I just didn't get the full
And
full
scholarship.
details of your question.
Yeah. Coinsola, you can go on while Shola types his question.
All right, thank you so much, Temi. I'm so grateful. Like that was a lot of enlightenment on everything you've said. So my question might not necessarily be directed towards MBA because I don't
No,
even
go
have
on.
the work experience yet. So I just want to ask because you talked about networking, networking with people across different countries or continents because the MBA has brought everybody together and all of that. So I want to ask genuinely, how do you, because I found myself in a place outside of like quite in Europe where people are very introverted and then they are very introverted and then even on the bus nobody's talking to anybody, you know. And then at work the network is limited, just your manager, your colleagues, and then they are the ones that are just saying hi, hello, hello, all those good stuff. So my question is, okay, yeah, I really want to. I'm quite ambitious. Let me put it that way, and I really want to make a lot of giant strides here. I'm working in data and all of that. So I want to ask genuinely, like, how do I truly, make um solid network? I mean, how to have a good solid network even in this environment that I found myself.
Yeah. That's a very good question, Cointel. And this might be the last question I'll be able to take my people. When I have to check your chat, your WhatsApp chat. This might be the last question I'll be able to take. I need to bounce out, but it's a very good question. At this point, LinkedIn should better make me the ambassador because hey, the way I talk about that happen, you think they pay me salary from LinkedIn. Anywho, prior to even coming to business school, I can boldly say I have built like a very big network on LinkedIn even before business school. The good thing is, now that I'm in the United States of America, I now get to meet some of my long-time LinkedIn friends. I've been friends for like 3-4 years, and we've never met ourselves. We meet here in the US. Sometime when I travel to like other countries before MBA, I meet some of them. Please, I don't know, utilize your LinkedIn. That's one thing I can say. We are in like a global world. Like, and the good thing about technology is you don't have to be physically present in a location where somebody is to connect with them. I wouldn't lie, there are some people I've tried to connect with on LinkedIn and they didn't respond to me. That's fine. I mean, maybe it skips their mind, maybe they opened it, maybe they intentionally didn't respond. That's fine. But I can boldly say I have made genuine people on LinkedIn. From people from LinkedIn relationship, our relationship evolved to like Instagram. There was one amazing person where she actually came to Nigeria for her sister's wedding, and that was when I met her for the first time physically. Like, I've been friends on LinkedIn for like 3-4 years. She invited me for the wedding. I remember when I've been using LinkedIn since like 100 level. Gosh, I'm just, because something came to my mind now. The person's house I stayed in when I was doing my 6-month internship in Port Harcourt, I met her on LinkedIn. Everyone, I was telling my mom, I say, hey, social media friend, no fellow back there, like you don't go and live with somebody you met on social media and stuff. But we connected on LinkedIn. I mean, honestly, I prayed about it. I make sure my hands followed me because I mean you can't trust everyone as well. She's a lady, she also studied engineering. Shout out to you wherever you are. She's a lady, studied engineering. So we've been connecting on LinkedIn, talking about life, about career. And when she heard that, I was like, oh, I have an internship offer between like Port Harcourt and Lagos. I prefer the Port Harcourt one because it's like the well-known name. And my house, my mom will allow you to stay in my house. I'm like, yeah, stay in your house. We've never met each other in person before. Told my parents about it. I mean, they disagreed at first. Then, I mean, my hands followed me. I was with them for 6 months. They took care of me like I was their child. I have made so many. Like, I can't, like, if I'm to write a storybook or a novel on LinkedIn, I will write a lot. How LinkedIn has helped my life. I can boldly say most of the job I did posts graduating from UI was through LinkedIn. My Google job, the recruiter reached out to me on LinkedIn. So I would say I've made so much. LinkedIn has been a huge, 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 huge blessing to my life. I would say don't sleep on that app. Somebody writes something, comment on it. Sometimes, and to be fair, some people will not. I'll be very honest. There's not everybody that chats me on LinkedIn that I respond immediately. Not because I don't want to, but because at a time I get distracted, or I don't understand why this person is like chatting me, or the person is not clear why they are reaching out to me and stuff. Because I'm also trying to like manage my time these days. But at the same time, some people will respond to. Some people are genuinely also interested in like making friends, making connection. Randomly, another LinkedIn connection reached out to me beginning of this year. He's Indian. We've never met. Oh, my sister is coming to Nigeria for the first time. Please, I need you to help her settle down in Nigeria. I've not met him. I've not met his sister before. Like, my LinkedIn connections have been very helpful. I give back, they give back. I give back, they give back. I reach out to people, they respond to me. They reach out to me, I respond. I even feel like I'm not as active on LinkedIn as I used to. When I was in UI, that happened. You think I was a LinkedIn ambassador. Hey, every day I post, I comment. Now life is so busy, I don't have time for those things. But LinkedIn has greatly benefited me. I had more online friends than physical friends thanks to LinkedIn. And even from LinkedIn, our relationship evolved to like we start following each other on Instagram. At some point, when we meet each other, like, feels like we've known each other for years. But because we've just been conversing and having chit chat, and it becomes like a personal relationship. So LinkedIn has been a good blessing to me. That's what I would recommend in terms of you wanting to like network. And don't put pressure on yourself step by step. People always say LinkedIn is creepy. Everybody's saying I'm glad to announce. Hey, it's people's I'm glad to announce that helped my life. I've LinkedIn, I'm a huge stalker on LinkedIn. Like I stalk people a lot. Okay, this person has a career that I want. What are the things they did? What do they talk about? All of those things. So LinkedIn, honestly, I can boldly say anywhere, LinkedIn is my own favorite social media app. That's if we consider it a social media app platform. It's my own favorite. Yes, some people say it's creepy, but they're saying I'm glad to announce. I mean, I don't see it as a challenge or a concern for me. I see it as an opportunity for me to sorry, one sec, please. Oh, you moved into a new country, Coinsola. Did you say you moved into a new country?
Oh yes.
Oh gosh. I think I missed your question entirely. Pardon me. Thanks to Sister Adela of the Lord for entering my DM. I think I missed your question. Pardon me. So you moved into a new country where people are introverted, and even where you work on the bus to work, people are introverted. So you're trying to know how to thrive and make relationship. Do you mind sharing the new country? Pardon me. Do you mind sharing like and it's fine if you don't want to mention the country, but do you mind? Maybe I can give like some insights.
Okay, like somewhere Eastern Europe, like Vilnius, close to Estonia.
Okay, Eastern Europe. Okay, that's good. So what I know about Europe, at least, I've been to like 3, 4, 5 European countries, if I'm not wrong. Don't restrict yourself to what is happening within, like, if you feel like, I mean, I'm very sure, like, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people in your country who are like, which we are trying to like make friends with people, everybody is quiet, everybody is this, everybody is that. There are people like that. So I would say you need to like maybe make effort to like find Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
I think this is the time I switch my internet pretty fast. For someone who lives in the United States of America, but there's always something wrong with one of my internets. This acts interestingly, but as I've switched to another internet. So I'm going to say that I think that if you'll be shocked to realize that there are some people who also have like a common problem like you. Maybe they might be internationals who are also there. They're like, nobody is talking, everybody is quiet, everybody is introverted. That's one. If there's a way to look out for them, maybe through church, through social gathering, all of those things, like look out for them. If there's an event, make an effort to go there. That's one. Number two, you can even start like looking at people who live in you can even start a community, really. Like, okay, guys, I realized I just start with 1 person, 2 person, 3 person. This person invites the next person invites the next person, and then the community begins to like grow since you realize that it's like a common thread tying you guys together. That's another one. Again, you can use LinkedIn as well. Maybe try to follow like there's a way you can use LinkedIn to like search for people based on location. You can search for people, try to connect with them. I think the last point I wanted to make is, and I don't know much about Eastern Europe. Pardon my ignorance. I wanted to say that one thing I'm so confident I know about Europe that I love so much is the train. You can leave Paris today, enter Germany the same day. Like the train, the $50, €50 flight. I did a lot of those things when I was in like Europe. Like it's easy to navigate within Europe. If you're, I don't think your visa, whatever visa you are on, I don't think it's going to restrict you. If you hear something is happening in France, like for your own sake, like just I don't know the countries that border your own country. Something is happening, like go there. Something is going on somewhere else. Like it's gonna be could be a long effort of 4 hours train ride, 3 hours train ride, but just make for the benefit of like networking and connection. Just try to make that sacrifice. If your work is not so rigorous and you have like free time during like the holidays and stuff, and please feel free to chat me on LinkedIn. I have a feeling that I have 1 or 2 persons in your country or in like neighboring countries. Feel free to chat me up on LinkedIn. I can link you up with like 1 or 2 people so you don't feel alone and stuff. But yeah, thanks for asking the question and apologies that I missed. Thank you, Adiola, for helping me to clarify. Apologies I misunderstood the question initially.
Hey, it's okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Please, I need to really go. All of that question
Yeah, thank
go
you.
through Wonderful. Shola, I would maybe send your answer to Wonderful and she'll find a way to get it across to you. I really have to go now, but it's so good having. Thank you for having me. I'm genuinely grateful. Thank you for hearing my story. And please feel free to connect with me on social media platform. I may be late to respond, but I will definitely respond. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Temilade, for your time. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I hope you enjoyed this session. I hope it was as insightful to you as it was for me. Thank you for all of the questions. I'll do well to get the answer to your question, Shola. Yeah, thank you for that. I hope it's a WhatsApp number. I'll just copy that and yeah, I'll get your answer across to you as soon as I get the response. So thank everyone for joining in. And yeah, let us enjoy the rest of our day. If you joined in late, you can get the recording on Wonderful Osal on YouTube. And yeah, that will be all really. Thank you for joining, for registering. And if you know anyone that this would be helpful for, you can also point them to the recording. Let's enjoy our